each other succeed.
My computer career actually helped me set up my resume. So with that help, I was able to land a job within the first 4 months of attending school at My Computer Career.
A few weeks before graduation, though, I landed my first job as a Tier 1 technician with a large insurance company. And 6 months later, I was actually working as a Tier 2 technician with a significant pay raise. And kind of like my first job, they were also very impressed that I had so many certifications.
You have to look at what you want in life and where you're at. For me, My Computer Career was an easy choice because they offered me a better lifestyle that I really wanted, and it was the only place that would really give me that upper hand in life.
The folks at My Computer Career are very caring. They really care about our success in the IT industry, not just with certifications, but also with finding a career and really being happy with that choice.
All right, folks, welcome. I'm Grant Gibson, a Marine Corps veteran. I've been in IT for a while, done the CISO thing, done the teaching thing, lots of troubleshooting, as most people in IT are going to do eventually. And I'm excited to talk to you today. But we are not going to do the corporate webinar thing today. The thing we're going to do is different, because in a corporate webinar, everybody smiles, everything's great, but we're here to talk about the sticky points, the rough points, right? So these three veterans sitting with me today, Rick, Miguel, and Joshua, they're going to tell you what really happened in their journey to IT. The good, the messy, why they might have wanted to quit at some point. And if you're here thinking about IT and want someone to show you the sunshine and the rainbows, this isn't your webinar, because we're going to talk about the truth, and we have got you covered. So let's get into it. All right. Quick introductions. I've got Rick. He was in the Army for 11 years and is a system administrator. Miguel was in the Army for 7 years, spent some time, or was in the Army. Then he went to Wells Fargo and is now an IT service desk administrator at Avamere. And Joshua was in the Marine Corps, did 3 combat deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, is now an AC technical and customer service experience advisor at Transcom. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, wait, I recognize these names. Well, Rick and Joshua have been guests on Get Into IT live broadcast before, so you may very well have seen them. We had some great conversations, but we are going to dig a little bit deeper today. And to you, the audience members, when you register for this event, if you were able to submit any questions that you had to the panelists, like, for instance, Mark asked, what was the last straw that got you to take action and engage in MyCC to get into school? Which will perfectly fit into the question we have prepared for this group, which was, when did you realize you needed to get into IT, and it was because you wanted to or because you had to? All right, let's hear some of those honest answers. Miguel, you had a solid job at Wells Fargo for 7 years, and that's not nothing. Why did you blow that up to start over?
Hey, Grant, thank you very much for having me in My Computer Career. So actually, before I even went to the Army, I was working at Wells Fargo. I was working as a account resolution manager, and it was a good gig and everything. And then COVID hit, and it didn't seem something that I wanted to do all the time. And I wanted to join the Army, so I joined the Army and left for 4 years. Then I came back. I still had my original job. But to be completely honest with you, I wasn't satisfied entirely. Like this is something I wanted to do the rest of my life, right? Working with a resolution and stuff like that with finance. So before I left, the Army provided me an opportunity to take a specialized program to get certain certifications, which I did with MyComputerCareer.com. And at the time, even Wells Fargo here in Oregon was working on laying people off. So I knew I had to find something else as well that will be more stable, and provide career growth in the future.
And you're happy with the decision?
Yes, I am very happy with the decision I have made, and I look forward to learning more and collaborating with more individuals like myself.
Very well, very well. Rick, I'm going to read you something you said when you joined us on Get Into IT Live. And what you said was, I was working in a steel factory with a torn ACL, doing 30,000 steps a day, 30,000, and knew the situation wasn't tenable. Sounds like a nice way of saying that my body's broke and I can't do this anymore. Is that right?
Yeah, you had that exactly right. I was nursing a damaged knee for a couple of years. and working another very physical career was not going to really be sustainable for me at that time, which pushed me kind of into really looking in the mirror and figuring out what is a life that makes me feel whole and doesn't break my body further look like. I always knew a career in IT aligns with my natural interests and skills, and the answer just sort of slowly dawned on me. And actually, I remember the moment. I just purchased my first house in Ohio, and it had wired into it a security system with cameras. And I'm standing there, covered in grease from the factory, and I plugged up the DVR system to an old monitor that I had and gained access to them using the camera's MAC addresses. And which led me to not even finish setting up the cameras because I realized what I'm supposed to be doing. Like right in that moment, I remember it so clearly. So I started researching formal education for a career path in IT, which ultimately led me into the Cyber Warrior program in my computer career.
That is a profound moment that you remember that specific moment. That is just so profound and an interesting topic that maybe we'll get to dive into a little bit more later. All right. That being said, we have a poll for you in the audience. It should be coming out in the speak, but we're going to ask you to tell us in the comments, what's your biggest fear about transitioning into IT and why? All right. I'm not technical. I'm too old. I can't afford it. I'll fail and waste time and money, or something else. Go ahead and let us know in the comments where you are. All right. All right. I see the comments coming in now, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Concern about financing and costs. Well, I'll tell you what, the CWP is generally financed through the VA, right? So that's generally where it's financed. So there are certainly opportunities there. We'll get into some more of that later. We'll ask some of these questions. See, you can't afford it. I understand that. I'm not technical enough. I will tell you right now, my first class teaching at My Computer Career after I got out of the Marine Corps in 2013 was a student who had never used a mouse before. We spent the first half an hour of his class teaching him the difference between left click and right click. So I doubt anybody is not technical enough to get into this course. I'll tell you that right now. That doesn't mean it's not challenging, but it's doable. D, I'll fail and waste time and money. Cameron, first off, Cameron, you're a current student and you are not failing by any way, shape, or form. So we will take that as a prank right there. B, I'm too old. No, you're never too old. You're never too old. All right. E, other, we got a couple others and a couple of different things in there. Listen, I understand your concerns and they are real concerns, but as you're going to learn from the three panelists we have here today, they had similar thoughts when they were thinking about joining, right? And they've been through similar experiences. And as we move through the day, you will see why those challenges can be overcome. All right. That is the truth. All right. Let's talk about training. Cyber Warrior program is about 12 to 24 weeks long, 480 hours of total instruction time, multiple certification. It is a commitment, a full-time commitment. Joshua, you told us to get into IT Live, you had to quit your job in order to study correctly. It was sink or swim. Rick, you shared that when you failed CISO Plus the first time, even though you were trying as hard as you could. Let's talk about failure. Rick, take a moment when you found out you failed. What went through your head?
This is going to sound a little bit weird, but failing the first attempt at CISO was actually such a fun moment, for me. And the reason that I say that is because, like you said, I poured my entire heart and soul and body into studying for that test. I really did nothing but study. I was online for an hour or two before class started. I spent like 3-4 hours after class was over every single day of CISO because I knew that this test was hard. This was really the first major hurdle that I faced in kind of the whole pipeline. And the way I look at it is every barrier that feels kind of too high to jump over just calls some percentage of the people that I'm racing against for these jobs. So failing it was like, okay, wow, this is worth doing. So I rescheduled the test for the nearest possible exam time. And I got straight back in the books. This time I was armed with knowledge of the real exam, though. And when I passed that second attempt, words just really can't describe how accomplished I felt in that moment. And trust me, the juice is worth the squeeze.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Joshua, you've got a unique story here. You passed the A+ exam, but then you actually failed the course because you weren't paying attention to the rules. Then you got sick during Network Plus, and you didn't get that either. Walk us through that. What was going through your head when you were failing the courses, even though you'd passed the exam? How was that?
Yeah, so A+2, right? The second rendition of A+. I was coming off the heels of just passing my initial A+ exam, passing the initial course, and we were moving on. And I just kind of had my head in the clouds. I was riding high, and it was my oversight completely. Wasn't paying attention to the class rules. Just kind of took it for granted, like, oh, as long as I pass my A+ exam, everything else will fall through. But no, there's real obligations in this course, and they'll hold you to account. So I'm a prime example of that. Yeah. And as far as Network Plus, failing the exam, the initial time was really a reality check, and it was kind of my first calling to realize that, hey, this isn't going to be an easy process I can just ride through. I'm going to have to really apply myself. But like Rick said, it was just kind of having that mindset of knowing that, yeah, this is just calling out my competition, and putting, really dedicating myself in that manner is what caused me to bounce back and pass that Network Plus.
Very well. Very well. We're glad you found success, but like we said, this is not an easy process. And failure is a part of it. And in IT, you have to be prepared for failure. You have to learn to accept failure and move on. And you guys have done a great job at that. We received a question during registration for the webinar that ties perfectly in with the next section. Roy asked, would you recommend going for more certifications or a degree to advance your career after getting the certs in the Cyber Warrior program? So here's my question to you folks. All right. Is the Cyber Warrior program actually enough, or do people need to plan for more training afterwards for their IT careers? Anybody?
I can jump in.
All right.
It's a loaded question, I think. If you want to go into cybersecurity, my personal opinion is that you won't exactly be ready to do that on certs alone. I really think you need to spend some time in help desk, spend some time as a system administrator, learn user behavior, learn to administrate Microsoft 365 apps, learn to administrate servers, learn to administrate Linux, learn to administrate Apple devices. Yes, I know this is all a mouthful. Not just the book knowledge, but really learn it from the inside in kind of a way that just can't be replicated in the classroom. Protecting these environments effectively really depends on you understanding them in a deep way. And with that being said, certs will absolutely land you your first help desk role and could even land you higher. And when you combine all the certifications from Cyber Warrior with help desk or whatever IT experience you land in first, then you'll be able to land a full-blown sysadmin role. By the time you're at that stage, that cybersecurity analyst or engineering type role, it starts feeling realistic. I graduated from the Cyber Warrior program 1 year ago, almost on the dot, and I'm a sysadmin already. I'm just about to graduate from college. And so now, all of a sudden, after a year, I'll have sysadmin experience, I'll have the certs, and I'll have a degree. It's kind of like the trifecta. So expectation management is crucial, but it can move relatively fast. It depends completely on you. How much are you willing to do the hard work during the quiet hours when no one's watching, no one's applauding? You haven't gotten the big payout yet. You don't have the fancy cybersecurity title yet. Those hours spent alone growing your skill set mean absolutely everything. So yes, you will need more training, more knowledge, more experience. But frankly, it's never been easier to gain those things. If you decide to change your life and prioritize this journey over every creature comfort that you can imagine, and trust me, it can be done.
That's a great answer. It sounds something I tell my students all the time, and that is what do you really need after this program? Well, what you really need is experience, right? Sure, you can go get a degree. Sure, you can go get more certs. Sure, you can do all these things. But what you need to do is work a job, right? Develop some street cred, right, and get out there. And I agree with that 100%. That's the way I train and teach every day. Is the most important thing you can add is experience. It doesn't matter what's on a help desk, network desk, whatever it is. That experience is going to open up cybersecurity and so many other doors in the long run for you, right? You just need to put something on the resume. So I feel that one. I just want to let you know, Rick, I feel that one, right? All right. Miguel, you're the most recent grad here. Finished earlier this year. The ink is barely dry. What's something about the training that nobody warned you about that you wish you had known on day one?
So a little bit what Rick was touching about, actually, I was in the same cohort as Rick. You do have to put the extra hours and the extra time after class, I was finding myself even working, pulling late nights and working on the weekends just to catch up in the curriculum because it's so much work that you have to be able to comprehend. And the course is, my opinion, is going at a relatively good pace. But of course, not everything can be covered that they will teach and prepare you for the exams. So yes, I was not prepared to like pretty much devote, like somebody else in the comments was saying, like a pretty much of a job, a full-time job. So yeah, you do have to devote a lot of hours, and Joshua and Rick and myself can attest to that. It definitely is something intense, and if you have the passion for it, pretty much anybody can do it. You just got to put in that work, determination, and hard work will pay off.
It's a function of time and effort. I like that, which is actually kind of gets to the crux of the next question as well. So I'm going to be honest with you all for a minute, everybody out there. As an instructor, I have experienced all kinds of students. I have experienced students who crushed it, students who've struggled. I've had students quit on me. And it's not about intelligence or prior experience. That's not what makes this happen. But rather than me tell you, I'm gonna let Rick, Miguel, and Joshua explain what separated the people in your cohort who made it versus the ones who didn't.
Well, I'll hop in.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say what did separate us as far as the people that passed. We had about a class of 20, and not everybody got their certs. But the difference is that what we would do, obviously putting in the time before and after school, just doing school alone, attending the classes on their own isn't going to suffice. You're really going to have to put in the overtime, put your nose in the books, practice the labs, practice the flashcards that were provided, every resource that you have. And what we did, me and about 3 other students, we set up our own GitHub, and we would, basically enter our own classroom and tutor each other and kind of, feed off of each other what one didn't, wasn't sure about them.
We may have lost Josh. We'll pick up when we get back. But it sounds like a lot, and it sounds like it's leading to sacrifice. Did Rick or Miguel, did you need to make a sacrifice on the way to get here to meet those hours and demands?
Yes, definitely. So I myself, like, of course, like a lot of side hobbies, or even spend time with significant other, and those that even had kids as well, right? You got to find that additional time to be able to study, like Joshua was saying, after those hours. And those that did pass, yeah, they were able to get their better time management. But those that didn't, because they might have kids or something else, it's not entirely their fault, of course. It's just a matter of being able to like prepare yourself before the course even begins. But of course, extraneous circumstances sometimes do occur during that time. But I know everybody in my cohort, especially, would be able to pass if they put determination and have the necessary resources and time management that they need. And like Joshua was saying, actually, my Rick and myself and a couple other classmates, we had our own like Discord chat, and we also worked overtime to set up like separate like study sessions, just to make sure we catch ourselves up to speed. And if somebody missed a course, we make sure they're caught up to speed because the instructor might not be able to go over it with them at that time because there's a lot of stuff material to cover over with. So Rick and myself and our cohorts in our class, we make sure everybody's up to speed and we try to take care of each other. Because in the end, making friends is a lot better to study together.
I like to hear that. Teamwork, I think, is very important to this process. I think it's something we don't pay attention to as much as maybe we should, but that teamwork aspect that you guys have is certainly a huge benefit, especially to the students that are struggling, for sure. All right. Now we're going to talk about some things that don't always come up in these conversations. And I want you guys to be straight with our audience. We're not sugarcoating it here, all right? First, money. Now, I know we're not supposed to talk about money and specific salaries, and that's okay. We did get a question from Antonio, though, who registering, and he asked hold on. He asked, what does a cybersecurity career pay? So on that note, let's talk about expectations for reality. When you got your first IT job, were you making more than you thought, less, or was it what you expected?
I'll jump
Anybody?
in. Yeah.
All right.
For me personally, it was about what I expected. Um, I had the good fortune of sort of getting to choose between two jobs, both of which started the very next day after the Cyber Warrior program graduation, like the next day. And the job that I didn't want as much actually offered me more than the job I really wanted at Soho Integration in Pennsylvania. And so I used job offer A to match job offer B. I really wanted to work in the gauntlet of working at an MSP, which I think is a really important kind of initiation ritual into working in this field. Because working at an MSP, as some of you guys probably know, you'll be utterly drinking from a fire hose the entire time because you have to wear so many different hats. So yeah.
MSP being managed service provider, where companies outsource to you, and since you're supporting so many different companies with so many different technologies, that's why you're wearing those a dozen different hats. Is that a good preface there?
That's exactly right.
Fair enough. Miguel or Josh, did the salary meet your expectations? More, less, exact? How'd that work out?
For me, in my case, I have to be completely honest, it actually was more than I thought. I knew IT definitely was going to pay, even like beginner help desk positions, a little more than like something finance. Reason being because I am basically starting my career all over again. So it was definitely a blessing, truly, to be able to start with the salary that I did. And I know it's only up from here. So. And a lot of it has to be, like Rick was saying, based off how you present yourself. And then if you have offers from other places, don't sell yourself short. Even though you might not have that work experience, you did work with a lot of interactive labs, especially if you did with My Computer Career. So you can add that onto your resume, and that counts towards experience that can use to help negotiate your salary. So
Fair enough. Next, culture shock. As we all know, the military has a very specific way of doing things, right? Just getting out of a Humvee in Iraq, I remember doing 5s and 25s. Like I have a checklist of 25 things to put my foot down on the sand. Civilian IT is not like this, right? So audience member Kim asked, what was your experience like after getting hired to your first IT job and after transitioning out of the military? And with that, I'd specifically like you to think about what were the struggles? What were the struggles in adapting? Rick, Josh, Miguel?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yeah, like you said, there's more exceptions than there are rules in this field. And every place does things a little bit different. And there's many, many, many ways to make this sausage. I think the biggest culture shock for me was that there's not any like overarching biblical regulation that gives you the exact correct answer for every situation you can imagine, like there is in the military. It enables you to kind of get creative in a way I've never been able to professionally. You have your desired end state, and it's really up to you to figure out the best way to achieve that end state.
Thank you, Josh. I think that's a very accurate reflection. And the truth in IT, and even instructors, when they're doing CompTIA tests, may argue over what the right answer is to a question on a CompTIA test, right? Because there's no real answer at the end of the day, right? We just have to do our best with the situations that we're given. So I think that's very, very true. All right. Here's a question I get from a lot of veterans. Will being a veteran help or hurt me in IT? All right. Some people think it's an advantage. You got discipline, work ethic, you show up on time. Maybe you got a security clearance. You certainly have a defensive mindset, right? Other people think civilians see you as rigid, or they'll thank you for your service, but then they're not going to hire you. When you had experience with those things, good or bad or ugly, how has the military influenced the job market for you?
As far as me, it's influenced me in a good way. I mean, not every problem can be solved with a hammer, right? You need different solutions for different types of problems. So that's one one bad habit that I needed to get over. But as far as the discipline that the military instilled in me, being able to wake up early, hold myself accountable, my particular job title provides me a large amount of autonomy. So I am fully remote. And with that comes the responsibility of being able to close my cases on my own. I do have resources available, but as far as the immediate answers and circumstances, those are on me to solve. So I enjoy it.
Fair enough. Rick, Miguel, either of you have a thought on this?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So yeah, being a veteran definitely does help in IT. Not just in IT, but depending on whichever career you apply yourself towards. So based off what the military has shown you, as well as like instill discipline, responsibility, that's something that civilians, when they hire a veteran, they expect out of you. So they expect higher expectations. Which is certainly a good thing because they know they're going to take care of the job that's on hand. You're going to be responsible, going to be on time. You're going to be able to basically be there for them when you need it, because that's something that's disciplined us in the military. And another way that the military can help us out with in IT is for jobs. As many people may not know that veterans are prioritized, especially when offers of employment. So that's something beneficial as well that we have as veterans.
There is a tax benefit to companies for hiring veterans and giving them priorities. There are things and other categories as well. So that's very, very true. Rick, you struggle. Did the military impact you negatively in any way along the journey?
Well, the knee stuff, but no, I would say it helped me. Obviously, having a security clearance is like unambiguously a huge advantage. But before the clearances and stuff kind of came into the play, even during my first private sector job, my prospective employers and interviews noticed all the responsibilities that came with being in the military. And some of the missions we were involved in were kind of world news at the time. And it really went a long way for me with building a certain level of assumed trust for just having been associated with the military for so long.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, got another audience poll coming in. Tell us in the comments, how long do you think it should take to land your first IT job after you finish training? Should that be about a month, 2 to 6 months, 7 months to a year, or more than a year? And panelists, you can feel free to react to some of these comments as they come on screen for sure. All right, what we got here? I see a couple of people saying a month. I see some saying 2 to 6 months. Yeah. It took me about 2 months. It took me about, I didn't go through this program, but it took me about 2 months to transition over into the role I wanted to. So I think that's fair. Put out your resume as soon as you can. That's true, Andy. That's true. That's fair. A and B so far for the win. So that's fair enough. What do you guys, how long did it take you guys?
As far as my personal experience, that was about, I received an offer about 2 weeks prior to graduation, so it lined up perfectly.
That is a pretty good, that 2 weeks notice, what, 2 weeks before you graduate? Yeah, that's about perfect. Fair enough. Rick, Miguel?
Yeah, mine was on the next day after the last day of class. I mean, I had to just schedule my start date based on when my last day of class was. I mean, and I chose between two, so I swear by this program.
And Miguel?
So after the course completed, because I was still in the Army at the time, I had to transition out of the Army, and I didn't start looking for jobs officially until January because I moved back home. And it relatively took like 2 or 3 months of actively looking. But yeah, you have to definitely put out that work to get noticed.
And I'm no expert. I don't look at these numbers every day and calculate the average time to get. So bear with me, guys. I don't calculate the average time. But from my experience, I would say that's accurate. Shortly after graduation, a month or two after graduation, that's probably the normal expectation time frame we would expect this to be happening in, I think. However, it can be quicker and it can be shorter, right? Anybody can have an individual experience. But I think that fits it about right.
Can I just add one thing to that also? So kind of that feeling that you have, you haven't been to any training yet, and you kind of have that thought like, is this really something I can do, like get a job in IT? We all had that same question. It seemed just as impossible or improbable or any negative description you can think of. And that was a year ago, almost on the dot, like I said earlier. And I'm a sysadmin at a cybersecurity company. So we had just as many question marks and questions, and you really can do this.
All right.
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
I did want to add to that as well. The career service advisors, they were priceless in regards to the help that they provided me in my job search. So I did want to take a second to shout out Maricela. She was great. I don't know if she's still with the company, but
She is.
She really helped me out.
She's working with my class right now, John.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. This is the part where I got to take you guys out of your comfort zone. I'm going to give you some scenarios. You're going to tell me what you do, and I don't want the textbook answer. I want that conversation the E3 Mafia is having in the background, how they're going to solve this problem, right? I want the real truth, but keep the language clean enough for government work, all right? All right. So scenario A, or scenario 1, I should say. A veteran asks you, should I jump into the Cyber Warrior program, or should I self-study and take the certs on my own? What do you say?
I'll jump in. I would do everything exactly like I did it with Cyber Warrior program. I couldn't have really put the pedal to the metal in the specific, unique way that we did without the assistance of my computer career. I really liked having the structure of class and the planned exam dates, which sort of forced my mind into like this focus mode where there's suspense dates on everything. Like, you have a test, it's next Tuesday. You have no choice. I've had many opportunities like this one to go live and network. Like, they put me on the cover of this magazine, which really helped me to land the job that I'm in now. The instructor teams, the career services, all these components add up to far more than the sum of their individual parts. And I would implore you to listen to your intuition on what process works best for you. But for me, it was a class environment like the Cyber Warrior program.
Can I just caveat that and say, what about the class? I get what you're saying, and I get different people have different study habits. Like, that's a big part of my profession. How people learn differently, right? But what about the class really made it feasible for you, doable for you, allowed you to excel?
Like I said, it's just so many little individual components. Combined with having very good instructors, there's an entire team of people that sort of individually coach you on the job interview process and resume development and getting your LinkedIn profile together. And it's just everything. Just every link in the chain between you not being a technical IT person. They solved every link in the chain between here and there in just this unique way that I haven't seen elsewhere.
All you had to worry about was passing tests at that point, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Miguel, Josh, you want to add anything? Should they go to Cyber Warrior, or should they self-study?
Yeah, I'll add something as well. Oh,
Go ahead, Miguel.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll add something. As a veteran, of course, I would say yes, you should definitely jump into the Cyber Warrior program. So it provides you resources and great professors, very knowledgeable, to guide you towards your new career path that you've chosen in IT, which they break it down for you, which anybody can learn as well. Even though there are different resources, I, for myself, actually, to be honest, I was applying first for an internship during my time in the military with Microsoft, but unfortunately, I didn't get it, because then I found my computer career just doing some additional research, and boom, now I'm here, thankfully, and I don't regret it one bit. And as veterans, definitely jump in, even though it is pricey, but as veterans, we do actually have the GI Bill, which can help you with that cost, and they even help you after graduation, especially the career counselors, which are very helpful. Like Rick was saying, they help you build your LinkedIn profile, they help you with your resume, even after you graduate, and they check in on you just to make sure you're good to go and prepare you for interviews as well. So I'm very excited and happy that I did Cyber Warrior program with my computer career. I don't think I'll be able here without them. So thankful to everybody there and all my peers.
Fair enough. You want to close out the scenario, Josh?
Yeah, exactly the same. The My Computer Career Cyber Warrior program gave me the orientation. Coming from, I didn't have an IT background. I was motor T. That's about as far as you can get from technical, and that it gave me the network as well. Your certifications are going to get paid for through the program, so you might as well take advantage of it with the GI Bill. Otherwise, you're going to be paying out of pocket. And as far as the network resources, those are invaluable as well. You're getting different perspectives other people, taking these exams, you're able to take the knowledge given from them and accomplish the mission. So yeah, highly suggested.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, and again, these are not paid, compensated people. These are crusty, grumpy veterans that probably grumpy half the time of the job, but they're here with us and they're telling you the story. All right, someone says I'm 45 years old. Am I too old to start in IT? What you got for them?
No, not at all. You can make incredible leaps in knowledge in a very short period of time. If you set your intentions out loud and chase them with urgency, you could be a true expert in the field in a matter of a couple years, an expert. So knowing what you're doing is the key to interviewing these for these positions. And success in this field is agnostic to age, gender, and any immutable characteristic that you can imagine.
That's an outstanding response. I totally agree with it. Jose just pointed out he's in my class. He's 64. He's doing it right now and having a great time at it. But you're right. You're right. This is you can learn a lot no matter where you start. It's where you finish, right? And if you put your mind to it, you can finish where you want to finish. That's the reality here. You guys want to add to that?
Yeah, in the Marine Corps, we age in dog years, so I'm about 56 right now, and it was something that I was able to do. So yeah.
Oh, Semper Gumby, Semper Fi, somewhere in there. All right. Here we go. This one sounds super realistic for this year. If I've had this conversation with people this year, this literal question. I've been applying for 3, 4, 5 months and haven't had a single interview. What am I doing wrong?
My first question would be to ask, are you tailoring your resume to the job role?
Fair enough. And that is a very, and my computer career, we really push that, don't we? Like we stress that, maybe over stress that particular component, right? That is because, they're not looking for a generic employee. They're looking for a specific employee, right? When you tailor it, you become that specific employees. That's a very, very good point. Miguel?
Yeah, I'll add to that. So if you've been applying for a couple months now, you still haven't had an interview, it definitely 99% of the time has to do with your resume. So as many of you already know, there is a system called the ATS system, which is an automatic system that if it doesn't detect certain keywords in your resume, it just tosses it out, goes to the next person. So I say definitely work with your career counselor because they know the system. They know what keywords and what they need to be included in the resume to be able to land an interview.
Outstanding. Any final thought? You want to close out that scenario, Rick?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Kind of like Andrew Salvi, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is mentioning, we want to take time to figure out what you need to specialize in. Well, you can just look at the job descriptions you're applying for there. But if you're going 3, 4, 5 months and you haven't gotten any interviews, there's only a couple levers you can pull. One is your resume, and the other one is like knockout questions during the application process. And the other thing is, if you're hitting the quick apply button on LinkedIn, my personal opinion is that you're basically wasting your time. I think 4 applications that you spend all day personalizing is worth more than 50 quick applies. Part of that process is really reading the job descriptions and looking yourself in the mirror. So you're kind of backwards planning off of the job description. Yeah, it's like, do you really check these boxes? And if you don't, take a break from applying and research them and get hands-on. And then you can say something about the specific tools or areas that show you know what you're talking about. And if you're applying, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Let me just piggyback off that question and get to something else. So when you're doing this, right, did you set a goal that I wanted to hit so many job applications per day? And if you did where did you find the balance there? Because you can have too many and too little, right? If you try to do too many, it's not personalized enough. If you try to do too little, you might not get where you want to go. Did any of you have an experience where you said, I'm going to apply for 1 or 2 jobs a day or 4 jobs a day or anything like that? How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I was applying at minimum 3 to 4 jobs per day. Sometimes I would get up to the 10, 11. But yes, at a minimum, it was 3 or 4 jobs per day. Me and Maricela were hitting it.
And you were customizing a resume for 10 jobs a day?
So I had about 3 different resumes in rotation at any given time, given, with 3 different distinct job title roles. Yeah.
That's that career services magic, isn't it? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Miguel.
I'll jump on it as well. For me, in my experience, actually, like Rick was saying, you do have to look at the job description. What is it asking? What type of employer are they searching for? Because with IT, cybersecurity, there's many different paths that you can take. You can take networking, or you can do help desk, administrator role, for many different. So you definitely have to first work with the job description and tailor your resume and apply to jobs that match that certain description, because if you apply to multiple jobs, if you just choose quantity but not specifically tailoring your resume, it's just going to be just a waste of time, my opinion. So I say good quality 3 to 4 applications a day, and you really focus and make sure it matches job description as well. I think you'll probably have a better outcome with doing so.
Fair enough. Joshua, you shared something during our previous chat that really stuck with me. Someone at a tech meetup told you you can't defend the network unless you know how the network works. And you said that was a reality check. You were trying to jump straight into cybersecurity. Talk about that. What would you tell someone who wants to skip the help desk and go straight to the cool stuff, the cyber stuff, the hacking stuff? Josh? Josh, can you hear me?
I would say first, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're good.
So I would say first, define your purpose, right? Do you want to be in the blue team, the red team? Do you want to go hybrid? Define that role first. That's going to determine what tools and resources that you're going to be, needing to use in your journey. Creating a small home lab is really key. I mean, like you said, if you don't know how the network works, how are you going to protect it? So use virtualization for just cost efficiency, resource efficiency, and create realistic environments and scenarios in which you're responding to, and document everything. If you don't have the documentation of such, how will you present that to your employer, your future employer?
So you guys can't see it. My class knows about this if they're in the chat. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna have to unplug it. High availability. There goes my high availability. All you guys who've been to my computer career know about high availability. This is my Raspberry Pi cluster. Cost me like $150 to build, maybe 200 at the most. And it's a Kubernetes cluster. It's a virtualization platform. It's a home lab in a box, right? And it can be anything, right? It can be anything. And those are the little things that really make a difference in the long run. I agree with that statement totally. Because like the premise of the question, how do you defend something you don't understand? Right? You just have to know it. All right, last one. And this is for all three of you. If you could give someone one piece of advice about breaking into IT as a veteran, and they were guaranteed to follow it exactly, what would it be? And I want different answers from all three of you this time. No copying. All right, go ahead.
I think my view is that there's three main pieces of leverage. Can you hear me?
Yep.
There's three main pieces of leverage that you can sort of pull the strings on landing an IT job. And these are in order: experience, certs, and a degree. I would be willing to hear an argument about kind of fudging the experience, like Grant was talking about with a home lab. So if you have certs already, but no experience, you try to use the certs to the best of your ability to get an entry-level role to gain the experience, which is the number one thing. And sort of while you're doing both of those two things, trying to get the certs and get the experience, pursue a degree. Simple.
Agreed. Josh, Miguel, and you can't steal his great answer. You got to come up with your own great answer. All right.
All right. What I would do is my advice is to completely immerse yourself into the field, right? So everything that you're doing, all the downtime, this is how I learned, is by osmosis, pure osmosis. I was constantly either reading a book in regards to the matter, studying a test, studying some flashcards, YouTube University. I was taking it all in. So
Miguel?
Yeah, one piece of advice I'd say breaking into IT, and what I would, if I would redo it again, is of course I would definitely choose MyComputerCareer's.com to build me that knowledge to get some certain certifications. And I'm not coming, but similar to Rick, is like you do have to get the experience, because even working with individuals I work with now, IT professionals, some of them don't have any certifications, but they gave them the opportunity because they were able to demonstrate that they have the capacity and willingness and passion by working with home labs and such to be able to be professional as an IT pro. So you just got to be able to put in, of course, that extra work, be motivated, and know there's something you're willing to do because it's not easy. There is a lot of people trying to get in IT. The market is very saturable, which is also another reason why you might not be getting jobs right immediately because it's just a lot of people. With this day and age, we're moving towards more technology and stuff with AI. So that's another topic for another time. But yeah, definitely determination.
Absolutely. All great answers all day. I really appreciate you guys kind of giving the straight sauce to these folks because you know they hit all the corporate marketing and everything else all the time. But I think when you hear it from the source, when you hear it from the people that have lived through it and have reached the other side, I think that's just helpful. Let's go over some of the questions we received during the registration process for this webinar. So questions you guys submitted in the audience. Right, we'll go over those here. And any other questions you guys have in the audience, right? If you have something, drop it in chat. We'll try to get to as many questions as possible. We got about 8 minutes left, right? So we'll do what we can. Jason asked, registration, do you have to be a veteran to attend the Cyber Warrior program? And Cameron Roberts in the chat can testify that you do not have to be a veteran to attend the Cyber Warriors program because he's in my class now. And he is not a veteran. He's a construction worker, but he fits in with the veterans. The veterans have adopted him. I will tell you that right now. They have taken him under their wing and are moving him forward. Right. We can answer that. Lily asked, is this program live led by instructors? And I'll leave that to you guys to answer. Any one of you.
In short, it is, yes. It's so funny because
they're live led, and we had some fantastic.
Who
our
was your
instructors
instructor
from a year ago? They're in here. They're in this room. So it's kind of like a
Mason
permanent
Reese.
thing.
Mason Reese,
Alpesh, Adrian, and Ray.
Alpesh, Adrian, and Ray. And of course, Rick, you were in the same class.
Yes.
So you had those same folks. Fair enough. And I'm glad they could join us today. I've known many of those folks for a long time. Mason was a student of mine at one time. Right, Mason? Didn't we have? Maybe I'm imagining it, but I remember that. Absolutely. Fair enough. All right. Questions regarding studying. Ash asked, what did you do to pass all the exams? How did you prepare for the exams? And then Theon asked, what helped you retain the information?
Okay, I'll jump in.
Okay.
So I'll be at risk of talking about like human behavior and psychology here. But the specific thing that I did was I spelled out in my own mind, what is my own personal heaven and what is my own personal hell? What is the version of my life that I will not be proud of 10 years from now? And I really thought deeply about that. All of the details and how embarrassed I would feel in like interpersonal relationships having not accomplished my goals. And then on the other side, what is my heaven? What does the life that I would be so proud of actually look like in detail? And I use these two ideas kind of in tandem, running scared from my personal hell and hungrily sprinting and stretching my arms towards heaven. And so I use that combination. Keeps my gas tank topped off. And passing the exams was the asphalt that paved the road to my heaven.
It's an excellent and very philosophical thought process. Very philosophical. All right, I'm going to ask a question now that I don't know if anybody in this panel can even answer. All right, because we are not the experts in this particular field. Well, maybe part of the question. So Dexter asked, what is the cost? And to piggyback off that, Tony asked, my GI Bill has expired. Are there other ways veterans can get the schooling paid for? Right? Do you guys know the answer to the second? What's cost? I don't know what the cost of this is. I'm going to be honest, as an instructor, I don't pay attention to that side of the house so much. I do know about the GI Bill and GI Bill, and I can say that the GI Bill can cover this. There are other tools, Chapter 33, Chapter 31, Chapter 35, and there are other ways to pay for the course. But I am certainly not an expert on that. Do you guys know any other ways to pay for the course, or did you guys all use the GI Bill?
I use
the
the
GI Bill, but I do believe that there's voc rehab programs as well.
The voc rehab is available. Yeah, there's other programs out there. So there
I said
are
that
other
before,
ways to
yeah.
get it. If you want that question answered, the best thing you can do is go to mycomputercareer.edu, register there for a consultation with an admissions advisor, and they will make sure you navigate your options for funding and federal funding and BA, and they know that stuff inside and out. As instructors and students, we have less insight into that particular question, but you can get that answer. You just need to reach out and start the conversation. They're happy to help you. It's what they do. All right. Continue to answer the question. How long will it take, in addition to that, how long will it take? Will you be helping me get into a job with connected partners? And to piggyback off that, Bruce asked, how did my computer career help you make this transition? So I think we already answered the career services thing. Like the career services absolutely support you. You have so many partners, right? And we've answered that. But that's a good question after this. How did my computer career help you make this transition? Not just the career services to the job, but the whole transition. How would you summarize that in a 30-second elevator speech?
Well, it was pretty seamless for me. As far as working with the career services department, they were able to create and construct a couple of resumes that did work for me and my tailored to my job history, tailored to my education, and they were also making me aware of the job positions that were available, constantly emailing us job availabilities, and yeah, that it was seamless for me. Like I said, I had a job within 2 weeks of graduating, right on time.
Yeah, a little bit what Joshua was saying as well. With My Computer Career, they have great career counselors. Actually, shout out to Carlos. I'm not sure if he's still with My Computer Career, but they help you with resumes, mock interviews. Which mock interviews, especially if you're nervous, have stage fright, it definitely helps out, and they help you prepare for what questions they may ask you during your especially your first IT job. So yeah, My Computer Career definitely helped a lot with this transition.
All right, we're coming up on time. Let me ask you one final question, and I want to answer like you're talking to your younger self. So just take a second and imagine yourself 10 years ago and looking in the mirror at yourself 10 years ago, right? Knowing everything that you know now, the stress, the failures, the uncertainty, the grind, would you do it again?
Yes, I would definitely do it again. Even though it's not easy, but I know it's a much better career path for me and my family as well. Especially because 10 years ago, I actually was working with as a mechanic. So I was a mechanic right after high school, and I was working as for a little bit. And it's very intensive on your back, and it's just overall on your body. And this job overall just allows me to have that luxury of not having to do hard labor work, which it would be able to save my body, especially as a veteran. Yeah, we need to conserve as much as we can. So, and it has other rewarding benefits as well, like being able to work from home.
Anybody else want to close out their final thought there?
Yeah, and I'll even take it one step further in that I am doing it again every day. It's not like you take the course, you get employed, and that's it. It's over now. I mean, tech is a fast-moving field, and the learning process is never going to stop. I'm still chasing certs. I'm still doing college. I'm still working in the field. It's not like you just do this to completion and then it's over. It's closer to like an agile framework that's like a circle that never ends. So I'm on the very first loop of a very long roller coaster. So not only would I do it again, I am doing it again.
Yeah, he's completely right about that. This is the beginning of the journey. And you have to try it. As far as the feeling that you get when passing those exams, it's I haven't felt that proud of myself in a while. So yeah, I recommend anybody to try that. It's hard, but it's worth it.
I still think I've been taking exams for a long time. A+, Net+, Security Plus, these exams for a long time. And still, every time I get to that end of that exam, I think, and I'm getting ready to find, that point where you finish the exam, but they make you fill out all the demographic questions before they show you the score. And I'm still like, I failed this exam. I failed this exam. I failed. And then, of course, I passed the exam, and it's an elating. You're right. It's a grat. Well, there you have it, folks. 3 veterans, 3 different paths. All of them made it work. If you're out there thinking you can't do this, you can. It won't be easy, right? This is a hard program, but this is a worth worthwhile transition. And I know for a fact, after many years of coaching students and helping students, that there's a direct correlation between the work ethic and the success. If you sit down, put in the work, you're going to get there. There's a job waiting for you. More importantly, there is a career waiting for you. If you want more info, we're going to send you a follow-up email with resources, an ebook on breaking down IT basics, how to better understand common terms in IT, like IP addresses or other things. But for now, Rick, Miguel, Josh, thank you for joining us today, providing such a fantastic insight. To everyone watching, stay curious, stay hungry. Don't let fear make your decisions. Embrace the suck. We'll see you next time.